For me, I like the fact that he was asking questions because he started like, okay, what is the number of population in America? He said 320. So how many are you trying to reach? And I said 1 million for you. He said that's how I said 50 billion. He said 50 million in one place. I said no, one for each state. So he was helping me to break it down that makes more sense. Then he asked, what tool are you going to use for each one? I said the NGO is okay. How many spheres? I mean, he was just asking so many questions that was provoking me to help me better.
Very good, very good. Yeah, that really helps you break it down, right?
Okay, adding to what they said, something else he also said. He said, I think it was an answer to a question Sandra asked about going to people, but I put it to my own role. I'm going to alleviate the poverty of the African woman in the rural area. Alright, the suffering is what I said. Then I put it back. He's telling us you're not going there just focusing on poverty of the African woman. You're dealing with the total human being. So in that case, you're going to tackle it from all around. You're going to affect the society. You're going to affect the laws that put them where they are. You're going to empower them to get out of poverty. You cannot just do all this relief aid. You go medical outreach, they go and heal them of disease, they leave, the disease comes back, nobody continues. You must build something that will sustain itself, and that is building the person himself.
That is true.
So that, I know that was my starting point, but somewhere about structure, numbers, I forgot that. So that brought me back again.
Very good.
He said, we're going to build a church that will change the nation. We need to target all these
7 spheres.
Yeah, all these 7 spheres of life. And he showed us how we can target the 7 spheres. And one thing that he said again that couple of times, he said, if we don't do anything after this HMT training, he said we find ourselves today. He said one day we're all going to stand before the Lord and He's going to ask us.
That is good.
And so on and so forth.
That is good.
Yeah, okay, Pastor, for me now, I can see I'm a leader. We really led me to see that I'm a political leader. That I can influence the poor, not those that are below, and then also get to the public, and then even touch those who are in authorities. And he led me to see how I can do it, and I saw all at once, I saw that, I'm becoming a political leader. He says, yes, you will become. And so he showed me to start an NGO, like you have assigned us to do, and then feed the poor, and then join the social lobby. And then from there, I have to connect to other NGOs to become partners with them. And then I should always tell them my vision. And then even start with training centers. And then he asked me, what am I doing now to touch the people? And then I told him I'm training people. I already did history makers with 19 people. He says, what stops you from doing more? So go on and do more and train them so that you make it.
So what he was doing with you is that he was giving you people personal coaching, personal consulting.
The suggestion I wanted to make is, if it's possible that to make it like how do you say?
A shot?
No, like a model, whereby like the teacher will come, maybe half an hour, he teach you the theory, then half an hour I give you to do it practically, then the remaining 1 hour, if you do the work with the
correct you.
to correct you. So that
Just like this guy did, eh?
Yes, so that at the end, you see your work, what you have done, and how to find.
Did you hear that? You have to write that down. Okay. What was the third group? You are the second that became third.
The first shall be the last, and the last shall be the first.
We have the governor with us.
You know, there was something he said, not specifically about the systems, but it was about the mission. He said the mission of Jesus was saving people, and your mission should be the same as Jesus' mission. You know, that, just to put another aspect on systems altogether, that basically all the systems, the ultimate aim of the whole thing is saving people. I also think it was so good. I got so much yesterday from Alina. He built very nicely for me in understanding things, the processes, and you know, the strategies, the 4 Ps he gave us, which was also about really saving souls, really just blessed me and has given me, you know, I could just see it. I've tried to do those things before, but the way he systematized it and the way I can see I can put that system in. Even when he broke up the personal life systems, all the different systems just in your own personal life, I think my life is going to be transformed.
One thing I really enjoyed was when he focused on the need to build personal systems for personal growth, so that you can find that you can create many segments of systems, and interestingly at the end when he just also shared briefly about his experience with identifying the different characteristics or different character types of his children, and how that will then help him design each system. So I could see that really, at the end of the day, if you can deal with the issue of systems, you can free up time to do so much more. So systems are the heart of productivity.
You now understand why I'm so free, eh?
Yeah. And he made that point as well, that at the end of the day, so the systems like the brain, you can think it through and how everything works. There's predictability, and you can then be so much more productive. I think that's something I really got out of it.
Brilliant.
Okay, I'm very glad that I got this one at the end. No, seriously, because what he did for me was put everything together. The life plan and the system building, different things that I have done already. I have started, but I know when I go back, I have to finalize it, review it. And I want to make sure that, you know, the danger when you get down in one direction is to forget the whole picture at the end, you know. So you just get down in the details in one direction and you forget that there are 2 others or many others that you have to put together. So it was very good when he talked about the master system, that you have to put at the end to make sure you have everything together, that you don't miss the goal at the end of what you want to do. And also one thing that I received was, I would say the biggest strength of him is how to maximize the potential of his leaders. That's what I saw. For example, he told us that even the presentation, he didn't do it himself. He assigned his leaders to create the presentation. And for me, personally, it's a challenge. It's something I have to remind myself continually. Just an example. I was telling somebody that yesterday I had to repent because a few days ago you asked me, like, what are you targeting the whole of Switzerland? And I told you it's only the French speaking, because I was thinking about me. I don't speak the other languages, right? And currently in my sphere of influence, I
just disciple people.
Yeah, only French speaking people. But actually, yes, you can reach out to the other
disciple people,
yes,
and then your disciples will.
Absolutely. So for me that
you got it. Very good.
Yeah, he broke down actually the 3 of them brought different strengths of understanding to systems. But you would think they are not all talking about system by the time they finish. So they complemented one another. But he broke down things again before that for us. He took process, for instance. So what is process?
Process. That is good.
So it brought a fresh understanding of process on its own. You know, and the same thing is systems. He talked about 3 types of systems. So it brought a new understanding to systems. So his own tool was very practical. And when I first heard that his system is thousands of pages. So I said to myself, and the person next started with me, I said he has a computer brain. But then when he now came up and said he didn't do this thing himself, he only discipled and asked them
that is smart.
I said to myself, wow. Because I mean, before now, I've been planning on how I will go on personal retreats, put all these things together, and then bring my leaders together and train them on how to run it. And now I know that that's not the way to go. It's better I bring them together, train them, disciple them, and let them develop these things. And they will do the better themselves.
Yeah, the way I do it is that I will bring them together, teach them, show them how to do it, then give them own works. So next week when they come back, or next month, they must have designed their own, how they understand it. Then they begin to present it, and I begin to connect them. So then I see the strength of this one here, the weakness of this one here. Then I add them. Then they see, everybody say, and that's how I develop them. But I work on them like that for 9 months.
I started like that. Then after 3 months, I saw that many of them were not
catching it.
Doing it the way I. So in this retreat, I was making up my mind, and I was just going to design all of these things.
Yeah, but if you can do it, it will still be a standard. It's still good. Then they will still give them the assignment. Because even if only one of them will catch it, then that one will become your main guy on system later on. So then it will just be giving direction. But it's important for you to know what you need, to know how to do the system, so that when you give him now, you can collect him later on.
Yeah, I could see that. I'm glad also that he came last, because he put everything together, and he did that on purpose, because you could see also he's a man of detail. Because he showed us, they said, how to do a process in the detailed parts of it. He also worked on a 4P, which is a system of getting information of what you want. For example, if you want how to get people into the system, how you pursue them until each one of them reach the goal. So basically that was a canvas you can use on every subsystem that you have, and that will allow you to get all the details that you need for your system. But on the other hand, as she pointed out, he stressed that each one mission is the mission of Jesus. Then that shows that he was a man of vision, because it's easy to explain to people who are coming to you that, if you're going to do the mission of Jesus, this is the tool that you're going to use to get there. That was really, that was powerful. And then he showed how all the systems that you need, you need to put them together in 3 directions. One is your personal development system. The second one is raising sons.
That is good.
And then put them together. If you can develop yourself and then raise sons, then whatever you need to achieve, you will achieve it.
Brilliant.
At first we talk about the mission of Jesus, which also, attracted my attention, because now I understand that whatever mission that I'm having is not supposed to be away from the mission of Jesus, which is salvation. And again, we draw unto us point A and B. That is A, that's where we are. And then B, that's where we're going, that is the final destination, that is our vision. And at the same time, it draws the processes, it gave us the processes as to how to go to.
You can pick more than one, or don't just pick one by one, so go ahead and.
Yeah, and then even in the process,
as many as you want.
Even in the processes, he told us as to what are the actual processes that are involved. That is, what is it that you're going to do, and then where are you going to do this, and when, who is going to be responsible, the reports that are there, and the results. So that also at least filled the gap for me at that particular process. And at the same time, I realized that, the 3 of them, as they're presenting, they've been complementing each other. maybe if there is something that you happen not to hear to the other one, at least you happen to catch.
So that was a good idea, eh? That we made all of them supplement each other, right?
Yes. Thank you.
As Pastor has mentioned, I noticed he's a person of detail. And I realized that many of us, maybe some of our interventions fail because we just look here on the surface and we don't go to the details, which are the basics. And another thing which I really liked in his presentation, he gave an example. It's not only about putting a system and just sending it out there to work. He really acknowledges that the only one who can make it work is God. Because like he gave an example of the prayer cards. So like if I am a member or a leader of his church and I put like 10 people who I need to reach out in that month, even before I go to them, I need to start praying to them, which it might look small, but it has very much impact, because by the time I go to speak to that person, heavens has already opened.
Amen.
And I thought as to why, if somebody is really doing that, why shouldn't we see growth? You see, we can put systems, but if we don't acknowledge that it's God who is going to work it out, we might end up being frustrated. And he went even as much as saying, before I got married, I prayed concerning my children. I say, God. Some of us, you wait until you say, okay, God, now can you show the man? You've not even spoken to God concerning the kind of man you desire. And a man shows, before you realize, you spend the rest of your life praying out the things you don't want. I thought that was something very significant. Yeah, better pray to get something which is, rather than just get anything, and then you spend the rest of the time praying out.
One thing I thought was just the bringing together of the whole picture, and I just liken it to some of the things that well in school and in the industry, that the goal of every individual in an organization is tied into the overall mission of a company. You can't go out of it, irrespective of the department you are. You have to align with the global picture of the organization, which is Jesus, which I never knew before.
Wow, that is good. That is good.
Everything, every process I build, everything I want to achieve in life, I'm have a goal. I want to be a good Christian. Your central truth, your central goal must go back to Him.
Very good.
Must go back to Him, which just open that's what we do in operational strategy. There's a global vision. When you cascade it down, individual department might have their own, my own goals, but everything has to go back to
Jesus,
to the company goal. So now, whatever spheres I want to go, it has to be Him. Then another thing He did was the breaking down of the regions. If I turn tomorrow that I want to be maybe a governor of my state or whatever, just break it down, raise specific leaders for each region.
Very good.
Then my work is finished.
Yes.
And those who will just produce leaders and everything else.
Brilliant.
And the church actually broken everything down. So you don't need to belabor yourself, oh, I'm not this, I'm not that. Raise each leader from every local government or every ward. Be working with them and everything is set.
So we could actually design consulting projects for business people and for political people all over the world.
I thought he did well bringing the spiritual and the natural together. So, and he demonstrated it by his own life, like she was saying, in terms of his praying even before. He also knew about his children before he got married, which I thought that was phenomenal. I mean, I know, I've heard people talk about, men in particular, talk about praying for their wife, but I think you may be one of the first that I've heard you say that you also sought the Lord to know how many children there may be, things that I can read to that. But He did go high level, and then he just broke the pieces down very clearly, and then went underneath to give you specific steps. And I thought that was helpful. He also had illustrations as a part of that, which I think brought a little bit more light to it. So when we leave here, we have some tangible examples that we can at least refer to. And he also showed the framework, but again, he broke the pieces down, and that was very helpful.
Brilliant.
I think it just makes me very, very grateful to God, for actually really making somebody like me come and be with geniuses like them. And for no cost. And when people in the world are actually struggling, and they pay thousands and thousands of pounds to listen to what we are listening to.
You are right. That one, on that one, you are very right.
Yeah. Because I saw how, the monolith, the concept of it, was, to me, it was mind-blowing. By the time we started explaining it, I quickly had to search what monolith was, and I found that it was a stone.
Julia, principal esta studenci tak, wtedy se testarono.
Yeah, and then I found out that rock, is actually representing Jesus Christ as well. And then when it now started, what got me was the vision. How we now said that you have to go from the end of the vision, and you walk your way back to the beginning of the vision. And then it tied everything up. So it made me see, because for me, I'm very pictorial. So it made me see, the way I described it was like a beat. Was like a beat, and that Jesus Christ was the string that was holding all the beats together. So not only that did I see the framework of the wheel, I now saw all the things that will go inside the process, that will go inside the beat. And then when he now said about his personal life, and then how he ties all that into all the other systems that he uses. That for me, I wanted to get that, because I wanted, before I came, I didn't really see how I could get all the things that I had to do. It was mind-blowing for me how I could 24 hours could be enough, or even a month could be enough for all the projects that I had to do. And I was almost becoming,
It's a system.
But then I was always becoming not being able to sleep. But then you now said it's a system.
It's the
when you put the
system.
system in place, then you'll be able to do so many things.
Very good. Вот туда, где выступали последние, потому что они стояли, поэтому я понял. Excellent. Well, do you all think that, these seminars and these workshops have helped you? Pastor Brother is for you, I was saying they should bring this.
Thank you, sir. I'll take it.
Okay. Well, you can get more. So do you all think that these seminars have really opened your eyes to a large extent, no?
Yes.
Yeah? Have you been enraged a lot better than before you came?
I don't think you really mean that question. It's been life transformed.
No, we designed it to do that.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it had done that.
More. It has achieved more. By your question, it has achieved more than that. So we've not just gained in terms of being different from when we came. It has been a transformative experience, complete transformative.
So you didn't expect as much?
Well, anytime we come, it is so transformative. So I don't know that I would not say.
You couldn't gauge the expectation because you had never been there before.
Yeah.
In stage 1, it was like an introduction telling us what to go out to do.
What is possible.
What is possible. So like as we went out and tried and had some failures and
some successes.
Some failures, some success, coming back to stage 2, now highlighting what went wrong and how to address that and how to be able to be more effective. So it really did everything that it was designed to do. I wouldn't say I didn't get what I expected. I would say that I can see clearly some of the mistakes, some of the things that I didn't do right that I need to go back and correct.
Now you have the teachers here. Welcome them. Now you all have the opportunity to throw questions to all of us and we can all interact. This is the idea of this whole thing. You've interacted with me a lot more, but we can all of us sit down together, maybe concerning your own ideas, concerning your own dreams, concerning how we could help you, or whatever you want to find out, or concerning us, or Ukraine, or what you've heard. This is the only last session we'll be able to really interact like this. Tomorrow you're all going. So be free.
One thing that everybody's been saying as they've been doing their systems, I think it was my sister that said it yesterday, that they don't duplicate what's already there. Like, for example, all the trainings, everyone gets people, but they put them into a system of training. And they don't have to make up new systems of training. Those trainings are always there, like the ABC, the minister's training and all that. So my question is that training available for people like us? Because we all go back, and if we all have to develop our own trainings, we get all these leaders, we process them all, but they've got a ready-made structure of training to put them into. What happens about that issue of the training, your ABC and these things? Is that available in English? Because they've all said that they don't duplicate their own, they just use everything of God.
Yes, I think we have to a large extent, not in the best of English, but we have the ABC in English. But you have to talk to Luda about it. I think Luda is somewhere here, right? Yeah, Luda will get it.
We have it. I have the ABC, developing your potential. We got it on our previous visit to Ukraine, so we can make that. We have the already released this to us.
Okay.
Especially developing your potential.
Okay, question, will I make it available to you?
Yes.
Yes, at the cost of $500 each.
Yeah, because that's what he paid. That's what people paid, right?
Who said what?
No, it was $400 each.
We contributed to have this things translated.
Yes.
But why? You're still hunting. We're still hunting for finished products.
Yeah.
Whatever it will cost you, get it. But anyway, we'll discuss whether that'll be something.
Maybe you need to pay a little bit for it. Because they paid for what they got, so maybe you need to pay a little bit.
So that's why the church giving is 1%. That's a share.
Yes, exactly.
Just in response to what Lauren, just in response to what you said and what was said here, maybe you've done this already, but at the same time, nothing works like sitting down and crunching your own numbers, building something, even as an example to take a few people through, because we had nothing, I had nothing when I went home, and we had to just build a few that were a little smaller and just introduce it like that, and they got it on a smaller scale, which opened them up to the system of 10,000 being believable for them. Maybe you've done that already, I don't know.
No, that's not, she's talking about...
She's to train them in systems?
No.
Sorry, it's not training them in systems, Derek, it's the actual, it's the spiritual content, especially that one, developing your potential.
The stages.
Because trying to shift the church into that different mindset. Now, we could develop something like that as well, but it would be good to see what is it that has produced the quality of believers. Because to me that is, apart from...
We answered. We have it. You get it. Go to the next one. Don't spend too much time. All right. What do you want to do with us? What do you want to know before you go back to your country?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you want to take people to Africa. Maybe we need to discuss a little bit of that.
Yes, I must confess. I apologize. I've spoken more often these 2-3 days than I normally do. That's just to tell you how excited I am. But please forgive me. Pastor Sandey, tell me if this is right or wrong. These systems we've learned, and also we are connecting to our passion. If you learn to articulate that passion with a good system, that material is enough to give you a PhD in any school.
Definitely.
Are you listening?
Definitely.
So
several PhDs.
Exactly. So don't just go to build system. Be smart. Go and build it in somebody's school. And let them give you a PhD degree for that. Not only that, you know, they will be so impressed because they've never seen it before.
They will want to use it for their schools.
Not only that, you're going to connect to a network within that school that you will use later. So, and Sandey, is that not the secret behind the raising of 300 PhDs?
Yes. One of the, even that one is on lower scale. The 300 PhD people I want to graduate in 1 year, they come from my lower group. I have own group leaders, I mean my own group people. They are coming from there. And they have maybe only 10% of what I gave this one. And one of them was in PhD, doing PhD when I was training them. After 6 months or 1 year of working with them, she just went and finished her PhD. And she had been trying to finish it for 3 years. She couldn't do it. She just, because she said she discovered that every single month of working with Pastor Sandey, the material she needed to do, work with, was much more than all her 3 years she has been trying to do PhD. Every month she was doing a PhD standard project. So she just went and finished it up. She just said, oh, my God. She said she began to weep and say, what did I use my time doing 3 years in those PhD programs? In Pastor Sandey, something took me through that program in 1 month. And every month another program, another program. And that is not even their own stage. That is the one I did lower, much lower. It is with those lower group that I have 300 PhD coming in 1 year. I mean, in the next 2 years.
Just real life example. I'm actually in school as I'm here.
Okay.
For the PhD program. With my roommate. So while I'm doing the assignment here, I had to do some assignments.
Good.
But the good thing is that what we're doing here, I was supposed to analyze my organization, which is the church, on systemic issues. So I just translated what I was doing in HMT and submitted it.
That's what I'm talking about. Many of us will go through this exercise. You just come up with a piece of paper. You need to talk like Pastor Sandey. But those that are smart, at the end of it, they will even have 2 or 3 degrees. Just by being strategic.
Those are already PhD programs we are taking you through. All right. Anybody say anything? Anything you want to consider? If the students can't talk, maybe the teachers want to say something.
Мужчина. Ну, хорошо.
You're a little bit late. You are just standing up. Okay, go ahead.
If I need some training, can I come?
Of course. Only you must tell us what so that we could know who to hook you up with. Depends on what she wants.
Can we have the trainings that are done emailed to us so that we can make decision which one we want to come? She said, can she
name anything you want to do. Anything you want to do, we'll give you the training for it. Okay?
How many modules left? This is our second.
Yes, you have one. You have one more. The 3rd stage. That will be the complete. No, not the complete program. The stage. The graduation. Then after that graduation, you have another one, which is training.
It's an entry-level graduation.
No, which is training the trainers. Which is when we are going to give you all the package. And we will give you the certificate to go and train others. So you have finished the program, but not just finishing the program. After finishing the program, that's the third stage, is the last phase. Then there is another one when we will train you as a teacher, no, as a coach. So we'll train you in that one, the practical things more. How to organize, how to put things together, how to develop your team, your leaders, how to go to the companies, how to do it for believers, for unbelievers, for businesses, for secular people as a consultant, and then you're going to get the paper for it. So you can say one more stage if you just want to finish the program. But if you want to get a certificate and be licensed, you can say 2 more stages.
Number one, do we have dates for?
No.
So that we can plan.
No, you don't have this. You don't have that. That might come up not next year. That might come up the year after. Yes.
Really? 2013?
Yeah. Because you have a lot to do between now and then.
Well, that's true.
And we are going to give you enough time to prove to us that all these things we've given you, that you have produced results in them. So you are going to submit all your results, all your systems to us. We are going to, every month, we are going to be giving you assignments. And you have to prove to us that you are responsible enough to be invited for the next. All right. Alena wanted to talk, yeah?
Да. Я хотела бы сказать всем спасибо.
I would like to thank each one of you.
Что эти 3 дня я была с вами.
It was a pleasure for me to spend these 3 days with you.
И точно так же от вас я много почерпнула для себя.
You said that you learned a lot from us, but I want to say that I also learned a lot from you.
Спасибо вам большое.
Thank you so much.
И хочу еще сказать, что я увидела, то, чего не видела раньше, может быть, пастор Сандей.
I also would like to share some of my observations. I saw some things in Pastor Sandey that I didn't see in him before.
Мы постоянно слышим, что пастор работает не только с нами, но и на другие страны.
We always hear that pastor works not only with our Ukrainian leaders, but with leaders from other countries as well.
И я очень понимаю, что скоро придет время, когда пастор будет больше ездить.
And I do understand that very soon time will come when pastor will travel again a lot.
И вы являетесь большим благословением для посольства Божьего.
And you are a huge blessing for the embassy of God as well.
Вы тот фундамент, который и будет дальше распространять видение и цели посольства Божьего по всему миру.
You are a foundation that will spread vision and goals of the embassy of God to the whole world.
И когда ты видишь, то есть реально это присутствуют все страны, которые вы представляете.
So I don't see just you as persons here. I see like you representing your countries here.
И реально это и есть работа системы, о которой мы говорили все эти 3 дня.
And this is actually a system in action.
И как и нам, так и вам очень сильно повезло, что мы встретили такого человека.
And I know that you and we are very lucky to meet such a person as Pastor Sandey.
И сейчас я еще что-то увидела, то, чего не видела раньше.
I saw something these days, something that I couldn't see before.
Что те дары, которые мы имеем,
that the gifts that we have,
оказывается, мы действительно безответственно относимся, если мы их не переводим и не преобразуем в продукт.
I realized that God gave us gifts, and it's irresponsibility from my side, for example, if I will not make it a product. If I will not translate those materials and make it like marketable product.
Поэтому я, например, приняла решение, что я это буду делать.
So, for example, I made a decision that I will do that.
И материалы, которые есть у меня, темы лидерских школ, и я это действительно превращу в продукт, который переведу на английский язык.
So materials that I have, leader skills that I have, I will transfer it into the product and I will translate it into English language.
Спасибо вам большое.
So thank you so much.
Yeah, somebody was saying that yesterday, right? That she should, yes.
Yeah.
Write a book.
Yeah.
I was saying that we should try to write a book on systems.
Because they get used to this. The reason why we don't do it here in Ukraine is because they see all of them know how to do it. So they are thinking, why should pastor is teaching everybody, who will I write it for? All the other people are teaching their own people. That everybody knows it.
Yeah, I mean, having gone through the three of them now, I'm even thinking they can form a team.
Может быть, они втроем могут создать команду и вместе какую-то книгу о системах работы.
I think they can all come together and author a book on systems. Everybody specializing in his own.
Потом, может быть, они могут организовать семинары вместе и тоже каждый будет свою часть рассказывать о системах.
And then develop a handbook,
потом
practical workbook.
кроме теоретических или отдельно, или вместе, и разработать потом практическое рабочее тетрадь, пособие.
And also design different kind of seminars.
И каждый из них может сделать различные семинары.
And design a website for it.
И сделать для этих семинаров, для развития этой книги специальные веб-сайты, на которых тоже учитесь.
I believe that it will make much more impact on people all over the world.
Я верю, что таким образом они смогут гораздо больше повлиять на людей в мире.
Possible.
Свои знания.
And you will derive tremendous economic gain. Economic gain, financial.
И смогут также
заработать
деньги.
Which is that is hedgehog, according to Jim Collins.
Это как
passion, what you are best at doing, what you are
ваша
passionate
страсть, то, что вы делаете, ваши материалы, это сможет превратиться в продукт, и вы сможете тоже заработать деньги на этом.
Thank you. Будем делать.
So that we can build an enduring company, a company that will last a long time.
Можете создать свою компанию, которая будет заниматься тем, что учить системам. И эта компания может очень успешно работать многие годы.
Да, поэтому я и говорю, что надо увидеть что-то сравнение, чтобы начать ценить то, что ты имеешь.
That's what I said. You first have to compare what you have with what others have to be able to value what you have.
Yeah, because we are just thinking this is normal. That's the biggest problem with the embassy of God.
Самая большая проблема с посольством Божьим.
They see themselves, they see what they have, and they think everybody else does it.
Like their leader.
Yeah, I like their leader, right? Then show you how so he leaded, sir.
Yeah, I would like to know, because you said you learned something from us. I'd like to know what you felt that the courses we had to offer, and what you learned from us. We'd like to get your feedback on how we did as well.
Вы сказали, что вы научились у нас тоже много. Нам хотелось бы узнать, может быть, что вы в нас увидели. И тоже хотелось бы ваши отзывы о нас, как о студентах.
Хорошо. Ну, первое, что...
Что не только вы у меня учились, я тут у вас много чего.
Так а что наболталась?
Вот тебе надо защищать.
Нет, так я все поняла.
Адела, ты приятный, да, тебе придется защищать.
Нет, я говорила правду.
Украдут у нас, украдут.
Во-первых, мне понравилось конструктивизм вопросов.
So I like the way you asked questions. Your questions were practical, not just theoretical and general.
Второе, это в основном вопросы задавались такие, вы действительно хотели что-то узнать.
So from your questions, I saw that you really want to know something in order to apply it.
У нас обычно задаются вопросы часто не для того, чтобы получить ответ, а для того, чтобы задать вопрос.
Because often people ask questions not in order to get an answer, just in order to ask.
И я увидела, что надо учить людей задавать вопросы.
I realized that we need to teach people to ask questions, to ask right questions.
Вот. Следующее, что я увидела, что вы, наверное, больше нашего вникаете в детали.
I also realized that probably you people go into details more than our people.
То есть вы останавливаете и задаете вопрос.
So because during my presentation you stopped me, you asked specific questions.
Следующее, то, что отличает опять-таки нас от вас, это вы не боитесь сказать, что вы что-то не знаете.
The next thing that is different between our people and you is that you are not afraid to say that you don't know something.
И, конечно, вы более свободны, раскрепощенны.
So you are much more free than our people. You don't think like what others will think of me. If you have a question, you ask question.
И когда я задавала какие у вас вопросы, какие у вас проблемы,
and when I asked you what challenges, what problems do you have in building or applying systems,
вы говорили, то есть у меня нет системы, или я, ну, то есть то, что есть на самом деле.
You openly said, some of you openly said, I do not have system yet, and I do not understand what is a system yet, or, I mean, some of you. So our people would maybe make different stories.
И эти
or people will just keep quiet, which means you are not Europeans, which is very good.
Она их по одному спрашивала всех.
Я по одному спрашивала. И я это для себя взяла для того, чтобы больше работать с людьми именно вот в таком, то есть добиваться правды, добиваться истинного положения, то есть что все-таки есть на самом деле, а не то, что они хотят сказать.
So I like you as students, and I realize that I have to work with my people the same way. So for them to be the same open to say what they don't understand and what is the real situation. Not just, because sometimes people just say what you expect to hear, but you people say what is the reality, the real picture.
И, ну, и, конечно, это то, что я сказала, это то, что я все-таки увидела по-другому обстоятельства, вернее, будущее посольства Божьего.
And as I said, I saw the future of the embassy of God in a new way.
Мы привыкли, что пастор здесь.
Because we are used to have Pastor Sandey here.
И он уже здесь 2 года.
It's obvious for us, you know, pastor is here and he is here for 2 years.
They just see Pastor Sandey as our pastor. Normally they just look at Pastor Sandey as our pastor. So they don't know that, no, I'm just talking about Jews. They don't see me normally as that I'm still working on some other people apart from, you know, I belong here. That is the challenge we have with the church on Sunday. When 90% of the people are not going for the church. He's our pastor, you know, we have him. They don't know that some people are interested in taking him, or in, you know, that there's a lot of people who are laying a demand on it. They just think he's our pastor. We are good. That's what she's realizing now, because these people are coming to our territory to get over here. You get the idea, right?
Вот. И я увидела реально, что скоро пастор начнет ездить.
And I realized that soon pastor will start traveling again.
И что ваши страны нуждаются точно так же в нем, как и мы.
And that your countries need him the same as our country needs him.
И я тоже увидела, что, наверное, надо собирать свои чемоданы. Ну да, да.
And I realized that I have to pack to also travel.
She is also realizing that I know something I could offer people too. Because she was thinking, you know, I just know what Pastor gave me. I'm just okay. I'm just normal. But now, because you people are asking her all these questions, and you are learning from her, she's realizing, oh, maybe I need to begin to travel to teach other people too in other places.
Yeah, absolutely. Даже, может быть, не то, что учить, но что-то делать. Делать тоже для мира.
And not only teach, but do something for the world.
So she has potential to give to the world.
То есть мы тогда будем плохие ученики, если мы здесь останемся и будем ждать, пока пастор будет ездить.
Because we will be a bad students if we will just stay in Ukraine and wait for pastor to come back from his traveling.
И я, может быть, повторюсь, но для меня это важно.
Maybe I repeat myself, but that is important for me.
Что оказывается во мне есть больше, чем я думала.
I realized I have more potential, much more than I used to think of myself.
И вот вы мне помогли в какой-то степени сделать переоценку себя.
So you helped me to re-evaluate what we have, what we learned from Pastor, what we have to give to the world.
И, возможно, помогли мне перейти на следующий уровень.
So you probably helped me to go to the next level.
That's our major challenge.
Pastor, is she the one?
Да.
Yeah, is she the one that
You understand what I said?
No.
Good, good.
Pastor Paul will tell me, so he will.
He didn't, yeah, he was distracted.
Oh, okay. That lets you know. All right, Pastor, I just. Is she the one that you said?
I said you are just cute like that. I'm telling her to pay attention to a black beauty.
They're pretty as well. So is she the one that you were saying yesterday? Pastor, I'm asking you because it's for her. Is she the one you said that she initially had problems with the system then, but after a while?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Проблемы с системой, мы не могли понять, зачем они вообще нужны. Был для нее вообще работать, а теперь вы для него лучше.
All right. I would like her to share with me what that problem was like. Because
поделитесь
that's
немного
why I
больше
feel like I am
о той
now.
проблеме, которую вы имели с системами, и как вы ее преодолели, чтобы стать такой, как вы сейчас.
Как я говорила, что такое система теоретически и как она работает в программировании, я знала еще в 20 лет.
As I told you at the workshop that I'm a programmer and I can build systems for computers. So I knew what is a system, I knew how it works, but I never thought I can apply it in my life.
Но я никогда не думала, что это можно применить к жизни.
Even though I built systems like 20 years ago, I never thought I can apply them in my life.
Not just in
everyday life.
She was just thinking like looking at system as technical things, as mechanical things. She never knew that systems could be applied in life to resolve issues, to resolve every sphere of life. That's what she was thinking.
Я думала, что мне достаточно что-то подумать, иметь какие-то мысли, что-то начать делать, и все будет работать.
I thought that it's enough for me to just have some ideas, some thoughts, to start maybe doing here and there, and then everything
No plan,
will just...
no organization, no plans, no structure.
Everything just works.
А еще я способная.
And you know, I'm smart.
А еще умная.
I'm so clever.
И у меня все и так получится.
So everything will work out well for me.
И
By itself, you know. Just like that's what you used to think. Can you believe Jesus is like that?
И тратить время на
Africans are like that. Africans are like that.
Так поэтому мне там легко было.
She said that's why I felt like at home in Africa.
I said Africans are like that. She said, oh, now I can see why I felt like I thought with them. I used to be just like them.
И действительно, я когда была в Нигерии, пастор знает, я себя очень хорошо чувствовала.
When I was in Nigeria, I felt like at home. I felt like fish in the sea.
Мы себя хорошо чувствовали, когда была в Нигерии.
И я думала, что это не нужно, то есть это лишняя трата моего времени.
So I thought that what to build a system for life, it's not necessary. It's just wasting my time. Everything will work like that.
И я никак не могла понять в то, что действительно это 75% успеха ее прописать в систему.
I couldn't realize that 75% of success is actually building a system.
Следующее, я боялась их писать, потому что я не верила в реальность их работы.
Next point, I was quite afraid to build systems because I could not believe that they will work.
И когда пастор задал нам задание построить системы,
so when pastor gave us an assignment to build a system,
я до последнего дня упирала.
I was protesting until the last day.
People fought me, you know. My own people also used to fight me.
И когда много из нас в апостольском совете тогда не написали систему.
And quite many of us didn't do that assignment in time.
И пастор начал общаться с каждым по телефону. Пастор начал звонить каждому по телефону.
And then pastor started to personally call each of us on the phone.
Система.
Мы уже начали между собой общаться.
Then we started to call each other.
Мне пастор звонил, мне пастор.
You know, pastor called me today. Oh, you too.
He also had that problem. He couldn't get it for a long time. So this was my weakest students. All these teachers, all these who are teaching this way. But now they caught it and they're going on.
Да, тоже.
Я был последний.
He said I was the last one.
И когда мне пастор позвонил,
so when pastor called me,
я говорю, пастор, я не могу ничего написать.
I said, pastor, I cannot build any system.
Потому что это будет только теория.
Because if I build something, that will be only theory. I'm not that kind of person just telling stories and building theory.
И пастор говорит, пиши теорию.
Pastor said, no problem, just write the theory.
Говорит, мне нужна теория.
I do need theory, he said.
Theory.
Говорит, мне нужна теория.
I do need theory.
Мне не нужна сейчас, чтобы вы это сделали. Напишите, что вы видите. Напиши, что ты видишь.
I don't need you to apply it right now, today. Just write what you see.
И тогда была цель написать систему.
Write what you understand till now. Just what you get. Just put it down.
И была цель написать систему развития посольства Божьего до 1 миллиона человек.
So the assignment pastor gave me is to develop a system of how to multiply the number of the Embassy of God members up to 1 million.
И, я разозлилась на себя.
I was quite angry at myself.
Села и за один день я все написала.
And I said, am I stupid or what? So I just sit down and developed a system for one day.
И думаю, пастор, вы хотите теорию?
I said, okay, pastor, do you need theory? You get it.
Вот вам теория.
Here you go.
Есть у меня.
Потом оказалось, что это была самая лучшая система.
And then we realized at the Apostolic Council, pastor said that system was the best system.
И потом пастор дал задание на основании этой системы разработать системы по всем регионам.
So then pastor gave assignment to each Apostolic Council member to use her system as a foundation to develop system for each region. You know that every apostle oversees some regions. So all of them had to write their own system for their own regions based on her system.
И я использую, когда я что-то не понимаю, когда я чего-то не
When I
понимаю,
don't understand something,
чего пастор от меня хочет.
when I don't understand what pastor expects from me,
И даже если я сопротивляюсь,
even when I protest,
то потом я говорю себе,
so later I tell myself,
хорошо, пастор, если не хватает моей веры,
okay, pastor, if my faith is not enough,
пусть работает ваша.
I just trust your faith in me.
Поэтому мне нужно сделать только мою часть.
I just have to do my part.
И потом, даже не тогда, когда я эту систему писала,
And you know, later, not even when I built that system,
а после того, как мы ее разбирали на апостольском совете,
but after we looked at that system at the Apostolic Council,
я только тогда поняла сама, что я написала.
only later I realized what I wrote.
Поэтому в этом случае нужно включать послушание.
So just, you know, sometimes we just need to be obedient to our pastor.
Потому что это все в нас заложено.
Because we have everything.
И мы часто не знаем, что у нас есть внутри.
But often we don't even know what we have, but pastor knows and he has faith in us. So if our faith is not enough, just be obedient and do what he says.
Поэтому хорошо иметь человека, который может оказать на тебя правильное давление.
So it's good to have a coach, a person who can put some pressure on you in the right time.
Поэтому я и говорила на семинарах, что не надо ожидать, пока люди будут меняться или захотят меняться.
That's why at our workshops we said that you cannot expect people to come and say, oh, can you help me to change? I want to change.
Нужно планировать его изменения.
You need to plan change for each person. You need to plan improvement for each person.
И вы же делаете это все для Бога.
You do all that for God.
Вы же не делаете насилие над человеком.
You don't
you are not abusing.
Yeah, you're not abusing people. You help them to improve.
Вы помогаете человеку измениться к лучшему.
So you help them to change for better, to improve.
Другого пути нет.
There is no other way.
Все, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for
It's
the
not a
question.
question, but I just want to ask the material that you used for us yesterday. She didn't send it to us.
Yeah, they are sending you today.
I want to ask, what is your global purpose for life?
Какая ваша глобальная цель жизненная?
Хороший вопрос.
That's a good question.
Стать одним из 10 влиятельных людей в этой стране.
To become one of top 10 influential people in this country.
Most influential.
Most influential people in this country.
В политической сфере.
In the politics.
Достигнуть через свою работу миллиона человек.
Reach 1 million people through my work.
Стать миллионером.
To become a millionaire.
И к 70 годам контролировать деятельность нескольких корпораций.
And by the age of 70 years old, to control work of few business corporations.
Написать 10 книг.
Write 10 books.
И заниматься преподавательской деятельностью.
And be a coach, a trainer, teacher.
Can I make an observation?
Pardon?
Can I make an observation?
Ага, он хотел поделиться своими наблюдениями.
That's too small.
Слишком маленько для вас.
Да? Maybe I will correct it.
We need you all over the world.
Весь мир вас нуждается. Весь мир вас ждет.
Ukraine is so small.
Украина слишком маленькая для вас цель.
You need to have a world vision.
Вам нужно пересмотреть свою глобальную жизненную цель.
У меня это на уровне эмоций и желаний.
So it's now maybe on the level of emotions and desires.
Я должна это сначала увидеть.
I have to see it first.
Поэтому я решила, что до сентября я буду подтягивать свой английский.
So what you said is just some of my desires and dreams, but I didn't see it clear at first, so that's why I didn't write it down. But I made a decision that by September I will improve my English.
И буду что-то начинать делать. Но цель пока не сформирована для мира. Но это то, что я говорю, что я поняла, общаясь с вами.
And then I'll start doing something in this direction. But that's actually one of the things that I realized while fellowshipping with you, that I realized I have to have something to give to this world. So now you're right, probably I have to rewrite my global purpose of life.
She's going to speak English by September very well, and then she could have a vision for the world.
We have to start from your vision. The vision is first, and then English next.
Вначале видение идет, а потом уже английский.
Да, я знаю, но... Как пастор говорит, у меня есть такая способность быть сельским чемпионом.
Pastor said that I have probably it's one of my weaknesses to be a local champion.
Я могу не верить в свои силы, пока я не увижу, что у меня что-то получается.
I don't believe in myself until I see I can do something.
Конечно, это все делает Бог.
Of course, God does all that.
Но я как Фома, мне надо что-то потрогать.
But I have to touch it first before I believe.
Хотя я была во многих странах.
I visited many countries.
И я сама не понимаю, почему так. Да. Спасибо.
She's going to consider that.
Actually, I encourage you to do so because
Я ободряю вас, чтобы
you
вы
are.
пересмотрели и сделали более глобально.
God's vision for you is the whole world.
Ваше видение должно быть для всего мира, весь мир нуждается в вас. Thank you.
Я это им уже давно говорил, но.
Pastor.
Okay, anybody want to say? Yeah? Alexander, okay, want to say? Служат твое пожелание, что ты?
Нет, тот же самый вопрос для него, по-моему.
Ага, что ты
The
скажешь?
same question for me about my global vision.
No, how you, how.
Твое впечатление после работы с ним.
Я думаю, у меня есть такое очень глубокое понимание,
I have a deep understanding
что ту работу, которую пастор сейчас проводит, можно сравнить с ситуацией с Гидеоном.
that the work that pastor does now with us, the pastor is doing now, we can compare to the situation with Gideon.
Израильский народ был в рабстве много лет,
The Jewish nation, they were in slavery for many years.
и Бог говорит освободить народ от рабства.
And then God said to deliver his people from
И
slavery.
он находит одного Гидеона,
And then he found one Gideon
который имел веру, что это возможно.
who had a vision, who had faith in this vision.
Это пастор Сандей.
And that is Pastor Sandey, that Gideon.
После этого Гидеон созвал 32 тысячи человек пришло.
So after Gideon got that vision, he called people to join his army.
Я вижу это
32,000 people joined.
как история посольства Божьего до кризиса, когда посольство Божие насчитывало около 30, скажем так, условно, больше 30 тысяч прихожан.
And you can compare that with the history of the embassy of God. Before crisis, we had 30,000 people in Kiev only.
Как и у Гидеона, армия была 32 тысячи.
As Gideon's army, 32,000.
Глобальное видение, которое Бог дал Гидеону, это освободить страну от рабства.
Global vision that God gave to Gideon is to set his people free.
И когда
from
эти
slavery.
люди пришли, Бог ему говорит: не с этими тебе воевать.
And when those people joined his army, God said, no, you don't need those people to
Все, кто боятся, все, кто уже наделал штаны, могут идти домой.
Those people who are scared, who are afraid, they can just come back home.
И это история посольства Божьего.
And that is the history of the embassy.
Когда люди испугались всего, что происходит вокруг посольства, взяли свои вещи и поехали домой.
People, they got scared of the situation going on with the embassy of God, so they just packed their stuff and went back home.
Так и получилось. Осталось 10 тысяч.
So 10,000 left.
Это история посольства. Мы ее видим в протяжении последних 3 лет. И после этого Бог говорит Гидеону: и все равно не с этими тебе воевать. Потому что глобальное видение оставалось. Оно никуда не делось. И освободить народ от рабства. И когда он привел его к озеру, к речке, к водопою, скажем так. Бог говорит, что вот эти, которые лакают, которые бросили оружие, просто как там собаки, тоже отправляй их домой.
So God said that those people who, as soon as they saw water, they left their weapon and they were drinking like that. So just leave them, send them back home.
Что происходит? Пастор Сандей, после того, как осталось после кризиса всего, грубо говоря, 10 тысяч человек.
So what is happening? After the crisis, we can say that like 10,000 people left.
Вместо того, чтобы радоваться, что хоть кто-то остался с оружием, хоть кто-то, при деле.
So Pastor Sandey, instead of thanking God that at least somebody stayed,
он отбирает к себе в домашние группы.
He selected some people into his home groups.
Вот в такие вот тренинговые группы.
And such training groups like you.
Всего лишь 500 человек.
So he only selected 500 people.
Как и у Гидеона, осталось 300.
Like Gideon, he only remained with 300.
Чем эти 300, или вот как вы, часть этой группы, отличалась от остальной толпы прихожан церкви?
So what is the difference between Gideon's 300 soldiers and the other crowd?
You remember, you now can understand why he said he only has 24 people, right?
Yeah.
Они не утратили ведение. Это глобальная цель, спасти народ, ради которой они были призваны. Они его не утратили. Это было отличие от остальных толп, которые просто приходили и тусили в церкви.
Because those people, they didn't lose their vision.
The initial global vision.
to set their nation free.
Когда я понимаю, their focus was not at drinking water, their focus was not at the enemy, their focus was not at the temporary and preliminary things around them. They kept their eyes fixed at the global vision.
Я понимаю, вода, которую они пили, это тест на жажду. Когда Бог начал проводить людей и тестировать этих сердца, их, чего они на самом деле жаждут, что в их сердце, что на самом деле у них страсть в сердце, к чему они устремлены, что есть фокус ихнего сердца.
And I see this water, it's like a test from God. What are you really thirsty for? Are you thirsty for your comfort? Are you thirsty for your own interest, or you are thirsty for the things of the Lord?
И это тот тест, который сдавали эти 10 тысяч. И когда жажда к наживе,
Not all of them passed that test.
жажда заработать денег, построить большие церкви.
And some of our people, right? They are thirsty for money. They are thirsty for glory. Yeah, they are thirsty
Это
for
период
big
кризиса.
churches
Это
for
кризис
myself. So that was a period of crisis.
Бог сказал: выписываем путевку в жизнь, пусть шагают до дома.
So God said, okay, you are free to go and build your big churches.
Осталось всего тех, которые в экзамене на страсть были сфокусированы на цели, на видении и на желании исполнить цель, призвание освободить страну от рабства.
So only those people remained who were focused on the initial vision. So they were thirsty not for their own interest, they were thirsty not for something for themselves, but they were thirsty to bring the glory.
Они не бросили это видение ни в какой момент в своей жизни.
They didn't move their focus from the initial vision, even though they were exhausted.
И я понимаю, что они шли несколько дней к воде.
And I realized that they probably spent few days while looking
Пастор
for that
Сандей
stream,
имел
and they were really
видение
thirsty.
пророческое относительно кризиса, что через 2,5 года этот кризис закончится и придет большое благословение в церковь. И я вижу, что это как процесс, когда Бог вел этих 10 тысяч, осталось только 300, вот эти 2,5 года, или как по Библии пример, они пару дней шли.
And Pastor Sandey had a prophetic vision that in 2.5 years this crisis will be over and a huge blessing will come. And I see that you can compare it to those few days while Gideon's army was looking for water.
И я думаю, что мы еще, многие из нас, в процессе, когда мы идем, и когда Бог еще нас проверяет, этой жаждой, этой страстью, чего мы хотим и насколько мы сфокусированы на видении.
And I see that many of us are still in the process when God is testing us. What do we really want? What are we thirsty for?
Но когда осталось у Гедеона только 300 человек,
When Gideon remained with only 300
это
people,
прообраз того, что осталась небольшая группа людей, с которой пастор реально работает. Их около 500, может быть, 600 человек с перестраховкой.
so you can see the same in Pastor Sandey's life. He has 5, maybe 600 of selected people that he really works with.
Смотрите, они не победили обычными военными хитростями. Они не воевали лоб в лоб, они не воевали никакими-то тогда или современными методами ведения войны.
They didn't win with the regular war strategies.
Но не просто war strategy. Они не воевали обычными методами ведения войны.
They didn't fight with the regular methods.
Чем они победили? Они победили первое – стратегией.
So they won because of number one strategy.
Системой.
System.
Они победили Божьей мудростью. То есть это стало как единая команда с организованной системой мышления.
They won by God's grace also. So God's wisdom also. They became a united team with organized system of thoughts.
Которые не задавали себе вопрос, правильно ли Гедеон делает. Они были в 100% послушании лидеру.
They never asked question, or is Gideon doing right? They were 100% obedient to their
Это было
leader.
вопреки всем существующим стилям ведения войны.
They trusted their leader 100%. And actually what they did was not usual for regular strategy for
Понабирали
war.
горшков с огнем и побежали на армию миллион.
So they took their those plates or whatever with fire and they just ran to the enemy.
И я вижу, что это и есть то, что делает Бог. Он отобрал группу людей, которой Он дает понимание лидерства, стратегии, система, видение, послушание Богу. И это та армия, которую Бог готовит для того, чтобы исполнить глобальное видение, освободить мир от рабства.
I see that this is exactly what God is doing. So He selected people who have vision, who have passion, who are ready not to look for their own interest, but to just look to glorify God. And this is the best strategy for war.
Я знаю, что в мире существует около 200 стран.
I know that there are about 200 countries in the world.
И я имею откровение на этот счет. Когда в Исайя 43:4 написано, что «Так как ты дорог мне и многоценен в очах моих, выкуп за тебя я отдам народу, и Египет, Савию за душу твою».
And I have a revelation about that. Isaiah says that you're so valuable in my eyes that I will give other nations for you.
И я понимаю, что вот эти 300 человек, они будут иметь в глазах Бога такую ценность, такую стоимость, обученные всему, что каждый из них будет стоить стоимости целого народа. И Бог будет их отдавать в выкуп за народы и за души, за спасение в последнее время.
And I realize that each one of those 300 soldiers or people will be so valuable in God's eyes. God will be able to give the nations for them. They will be equal to the nations, and God will be able to use them to lead nations.
И я понимаю это местописание, что так как ты дорог, то есть мы становимся настолько ценными сейчас в глазах Бога, что каждый из нас по стоимости будет стоить целые народы.
I understand that scripture because it says that you are so valuable in my eyes, so precious in my eyes, and I know that now each one of us is as precious in God's eyes as the whole nations.
So for each one of the 200 or 300 people, God will give a nation. Yes. Because they are so precious.
Вот это и есть та работа, которую Бог производит с вами сейчас.
So that's the work that God is doing on
И вы попали в эту.
And I think he got it quite right. Yeah. Can you really say after meeting with them? Can you say it's like each one of them is as precious as a nation, right?
Yes. И получается, что
weight of each one of them is.
Вес, который несет каждый из них.
И я думаю, что сейчас мы просто-напросто приобретаем навыки профессиональные в разных сферах, комплектуя или совершенствуя, или создавая как бы единый образ каждому из нас, вот этого вот многоценного человека, оснащенного всеми современными оружиями, ведением этой духовной борьбы, которую Бог готовил тогда армию Гедеона. И когда Бог закончит работать с нами, то, что пастор говорит, следующий уровень, следующий, вот тогда начнется настоящее пробуждение. Каждый из вас – это целая страна, которая будет спасаться.
And I think that now we are in the process of getting knowledge in different areas. So we are in the process of preparation now.
Perfection.
Perfection. And after God will finish His work of perfection on each of us, then the real revival will start.
Wow. Of nation. Very deep, huh? Yeah. It's very deep. That is not system anymore, that is revelation. That is no more system, that is revelation. Yes. That's cool. The whole story of what? In two phrases.
Историю посольства Божьего рассказал Бог в предложениях.
And future too.
Yeah, what's then your goal purpose for life?
Okay, I can't say. Я знаю уже много лет, что моя глобальная цель напрямую связана с Украиной.
For many years already, I know that my global purpose of life is connected to Ukraine.
Моя миссия привести к Богу при моей жизни, пока я буду жив, 3 миллиона.
My mission is to bring to Christ during my life 3 million people.
но научить и подготовить команду, которая после меня еще 50 миллионов приведет.
But to train a team that will bring 50 more million people to Christ after I die.
То есть мое число это 50 миллионов, 10% от ведения пастора.
So my
maybe not after he dies, but apart, separate from him.
Okay. My purpose of life to bring 50 million people to Christ. It's 1/10 of our pastor's global life purpose.
Но я знаю, что моя глобальная цель это политика, большая политика в Украине, и это один из пост в руководящем составе страны.
I know that my calling is politics. I know that I'm going to be one of the top political leaders in this country.
Я знаю от Бога не просто это, в идее, конкретные годы, сроки, сколько лет надо для того или иного плана, промежуточные цели, то есть вплоть до 2024 года у меня конкретно прописан путь в политику и какие промежуточные цели.
And it's not just a dream. I have a detailed plan written up to 2024. I know what year, what month I'm going
what
to
position,
do, what position I'm going to
И Бог мне это
what stage, what position first, what year, when.
И как минимум 5 разных мест из Писаний, где я просто могу подсчитать по цифрам, сообразить по книгам, и эти годы сходятся. С разными местописаниями мне Бог подтверждал, даже вплоть до того, в какой год что должно происходить в моей
And God
жизни.
confirmed me with different scriptures, exactly year, when I will get that or other position.
And it's done it scripturally too.
Поэтому, когда мир ожидает...
Everything calculated.
Да.
To the detail.
Поэтому это дает мне, с одной стороны, дает свободу действий, с другой стороны, очень большую ответственность, потому что я ограничен в сроках, и я понимаю, что в какой год, какой результат должен иметь каждый год.
And from one side it gives me a freedom, but from other side it's it's kind of a pressure because I know for sure what year, what position I'm going to take. And
What result?
I need to do
What
with
result he has to have each year to get to that ultimate.
И кроме этого Бог мне показывал, скажем так, не показывал, а говорил мне о моей смерти, о том, когда, в каких обстоятельствах, в каком примерно позиции придет время идти на небо.
And also God even showed me when and how and in what position,
Position in the political.
I am going to finish my earthly.
Поэтому я спешу, поэтому я.
God has told me when I'm going to die, how I'm going to live, and all that. When years I have left.
Поэтому я спешу, я пишу много книг, я готовлю команду.
I train my team.
Поэтому я думаю, что есть благодать на то, чтобы думать глубоко, детально, чтобы передавать это.
And I think there is a grace to think deep, detailed, and to teach your team to do the same.
Но я хочу вам сказать, как эта благодать пришла. Пастор говорит, что я один из последних, кто раздуплился, кто въехал в систему.
And I want to share with you how I got this grace, because as Pastor said, I was one of the last students who was able to understand systems.
It was the least in my team. It was the most difficult.
Я никогда не был туповатым в этом плане. Я понимал некоторые вещи.
I was never a stupid person. I understood some things.
Но когда члены апостольского совета, а особенно Алена Геннадьевна, рисовала системы, я начал понимать, что у меня, не хватает какого-то инструмента, чтобы понять все, что она говорит.
But when Apostolic Council members, and especially Alena Dobrovolskaya, presented their systems, I realized that something is missing in my life. I cannot really understand those systems.
И когда в апостольском совете начали открываться системы, одному, второму, третьему, четвертому, а я сижу и я понимаю реально, что я туплю по-настоящему.
And then, after some time, different apostolic council members started to present their own systems, started to come up with different, unique, wonderful systems. I was sitting there and realized that, come on, I feel so stupid.
И я уже один раз увидел очередную, я там что-то прописал, пастору дал, и надо было защищать эту систему. И я так посмотрел на пастора, и он, видно, понял мое состояние. И он такой посмотрел, ну да, Корман сделал, ну потом посмотрим. Раз так я понял, что, короче, пастор понял, что если я очередной раз сейчас буду ложать здесь, то мне будет очень нехорошо.
One time we presented our homeworks at the Apostolic Council, and I was about to present my system, if I can say so, if I can call it system. And then I just looked at Pastor, and Pastor looked at me, and he said, okay, Alexander will present his system later. Pastor realized that I will not survive one more failure.
He was not going to be able to survive another failure.
Именно тогда я понял, что пастор не против меня, он за меня.
That time I understood that pastor is not against me, he's for me.
Почему это важно? Почему я вам это говорю?
Why I'm sharing that?
Я был один из очень, скажем так, очень гордым человеком, очень эгоистичным, потому что в жизни я всего добивался сам, я такой интеллигентный грешник и был немного надменным, и мне казалось, что я один из самых умных вообще в этом апостольском совете. Это правда?
Why I'm sharing that? Because I used to be a very egoistic person. I was so proud of myself. I was kind of intelligent sinner. I used to think that...
What sinner?
I used to think that I'm one of the smartest people in the Apostolic Council.
Но когда им начала открываться система,
But when they started to come up with their system,
This woman was stupid.
в общем, этот позор продолжался год.
so that shame lasts for a year.
Бог смирял меня.
God humbled me.
И я не знаю, как пастор Сандей, выдержал все это, потому что я не мог, въехать в это.
I don't know how Pastor Sandey could have such patience, could endure all that and have such patience.
И когда я пришел к выводу, что я не такой уже и умный, как я думал, я начал сидеть и слушать каждого члена апостольского совета, каждую презентацию. До этого я не слушал, я ждал своей презентации.
When I came to the conclusion that I'm not as smart as I used to think, then I started to listen to every word of presentation of all the Apostolic Council members, because before I didn't listen to them. I was just waiting for my turn to present my turn.
И когда я начал слушать, я начал что-то понимать.
When I started to listen to them, I started to understand something.
Система открылась мне в секунду. Пришло время, после очередного апостольского совета, после там беседки, я ехал домой, и я увидел картину. И это было, мгновение, секунда. Вдруг мне открылась эта картина. И все то, что я слышал, весь этот год позора и смирения, оно все только раз, и мне стало понятно. В одно мгновение.
And then at some point God just revealed the system to me. So that all that I heard during that year of shame and humbling myself, just at 1 second God just revealed the whole system to me. I realized, I understood things that I couldn't understand for a year.
Да. И тогда Бог мне сказал одну очень важную вещь.
Then God told me something very important.
Первое.
Number one.
Система – это откровение.
System is a revelation.
Откровение от Бога.
Revelation from God.
Бог не может доверить это откровение кому угодно.
God cannot trust this revelation to just somebody.
Потому что это оружие для жатвы последнего времени.
Because that's a weapon for the harvest of the last days.
Многие люди.
That is true. That's what I say.
Wow.
System is the combined, the secret.
Nothing I will stand
for harvest in the last days.
Многие люди этого мира, которым открылась система, они используют ресурсы для того, чтобы погубить этот мир, для эгоистичных целей.
Some leaders and people of this world who realize the importance and the power of systems, they use this system to
destroy. И Бог сегодня готовит эту армию людей, которым Он лично сам откроет эту систему. Но только тем, чье сердце будет без гордости, надменности, высокомерия, чтобы опять переменить на себя и подвести Бога в это время.
And today God is preparing the army for the last days, to people to whom He will be able to reveal this system, people whom He will be able to trust with those systems, to know that they will use these systems for good, not for bad.
И я понял, что это точно так же, как написано, что Евангелие – это откровение Иисуса Христа. Система – это откровение Иисуса Христа.
So because I realized that as it reason that gospel is a revelation of Jesus Christ, I realized that system is a revelation as well.
Для тела Христова, для этого времени.
For the body of Christ for these days.
Это первое, что мне Бог сказал.
So that was number one, what God told me.
И второе, что Он мне сказал.
And number two.
Пастор Сандей
Pastor Sandey
– это Иисус последнего времени.
is Jesus of the last days.
То есть я не сумасшедший.
I'm not a crazy person.
Бог конкретно мне сказал, что это не просто идеально, а это модель Иисуса и вообще Иисус нашего времени.
God told me very clear that Pastor Sandey is like ideal model of Jesus of the last days.
Он говорит, я выбрал тебя быть в команде с Ним.
And God told me, I selected you to be in
Не
Pastor
пренебрегай
Sandey's
этим
team.
местом.
Don't neglect this place.
После этого я понял, что я не оценивал по достоинству выбор Божий.
After that, I realized that I didn't value enough God's choice
Из-за гордости и всего, что...
because of my pride and so on.
И это был очень серьезный разговор с Богом, после которого я понял, что мне оказано, как и вам всем, честь быть в команде 300 Гидеона, которым доверена миссия нести эстафетную палочку и спасение на планете.
And that was a very serious talk with God, after which I realized that God trusted me to carry His vision for the last days in Pastor Sandey's team.
Listen up.
Wow.
Another question. Is Europe going to be one nation? If so, what the political role then are you going to be playing?
Бог призвал для одной страны и какую политическую роль?
Я понимаю. Я вам когда рисовал видение, да, на 20 лет, на 15 лет, я вам показал только 5 лет, это как церковь.
When I shared my vision with you for 5, 10, 15 years, I only showed it for the area of church.
5 years. For 5 years.
Oh, for 5 years.
Но в этом глобальном плане я знаю, что Бог призвал меня служить другим народам.
But I know that God called me to minister to other nations as well.
Был период, когда у меня было бремя за Америку.
There was a time when I had burden for America,
Особенно за Атланту.
especially for Atlanta.
И я много ездил в Атланту, Бог мне показал видение пророческое о том, как Он хочет использовать Атланту.
And I went to Atlanta many times, and God showed me a
И
prophetic vision
3 года
on
подряд
how
я
He's going to
ездил,
use Atlanta.
проповедовал, высвобождал это видение
3 years in
и
a row,
благословил
I was going
пастора
there,
посольства, который сейчас там начинает работать.
sharing the vision, and I blessed pastor. We planted church. We planted church, Embassy of God Daughter Church in
About to
Atlanta.
plant the church, yeah.
И теперь я вижу огромное количество людей из Атланты, которые ездят сюда.
And now I see so many people from Atlanta coming
То
here.
есть это пророческое слово, оно работает.
That prophetic word.
И после этого у меня... Я могу сказать, что я видел. Я видел, что Атланта – это город хлеба.
I saw that Atlanta
Actually, you are supposed to shout hallelujah if you had, it's like you understood exactly what he said. You did it just in the spirit. You hear now.
Atlanta is the city of bread.
Like Bethlehem.
Я увидел, что точно, это очень четко, я до сих пор это вижу, что точно так же, как Киев, это город миссионеров, город хлеба, который кормит всю Европу. У Атланты есть миссия поднять там точно такое же сильное пробуждение, чтобы быть городом хлеба, который будет кормить всю Латинскую и Северную Америку.
I see it very clear that the same way as God made Kiev like a city of bread that feeds the whole Europe, God will make Atlanta also city of bread, and you will feed all Latin and North America.
Я видел,
South America and North America.
и я видел, что это как духовные корабли. В Атланту, Атланта будет как духовный порт, куда будут приезжать огромные корабли и заправляться этим хлебом и разъезжать по всей Америке, Южной и Северной.
I saw Atlanta like a spiritual harbor, harbor, where ships will come and get bread and then deliver it into all places.
Что это как брат-близнец Киева, только по ту сторону Атлантики.
I saw that Atlanta is like a twin brother of Kiev, it's just in America.
И я вижу, как сейчас именно Атланта является лидером по количеству людей, которые ездят сюда. И я впервые говорю об этом, даже вот в присутствии пастора, об этом видении, потому что тогда я его высвободил на Америку, я говорил об этом, и я почувствовал, что мое бремя ушло, кто-то подхватил его, это бремя, и несет это бремя. И Бог высвободил меня для другой части мира.
And I see that now so many people come from Atlanta. And that time I just shared that vision, I just shared that word that God gave me. And then I felt that
the burden left.
Yeah, the burden left. Like I'm done with that, so I can do other things with like other countries. But that's what God told me.
But they felt that there are some people from Atlanta who caught that vision. So he felt that he just went there to the country to pronounce it and pray. That was his own part of the duty. And she released that word. He felt that some people caught it in the spirit. And as soon as some people caught it in the spirit in Atlanta, the burden shifted from him. And he just left the place. He said some people already have it who are in that Atlanta.
И когда я был в Атланте, у меня было очень, в этой же молитве, у меня было очень сильное переживание с Богом, и Бог мне сказал, что вслед за этой работой, которая будет в Атланте, следующая страна, в которую Бог очень сильно начнет поднимать движение, это Канада.
When I was in Atlanta, I had very strong experience with God in the Spirit, and God told me that the next country where God is going to do huge work will be Canada.
Вот. И после этого у меня было очень большое бремя за Дальний Восток.
And I had also a big burden for the Middle East.
Not far.
So far east.
Россия, территория возле Китая, Японии, Монголии.
Territory around China, Japan and.
И тоже около 4 лет я ездил туда и постоянно передавал ведение. И сейчас там поднялась очень сильная церковь, школа и социальная работа, которая имеют признание от власти, президента, местной власти и считаются третьей общественной организацией в регионе по влиянию вообще в этой территории. Больше 150 тысяч человек они охватывают своей работой.
And I was coming to those territories for about 4 years, and now God raised so many like churches and organizations, and God is doing just fantastic work there. And
Медведев помог.
Да, нормально.
Нормально, все хорошо. Президент. Да, то есть сейчас они работают с правительством, с местным, с президентом страны.
Now they work with their government. Now they work with president of their country. So they are recognized by
Считается
government.
третьей общественной организацией по влиянию в Хабаровском крае. Это около 150 тысяч человек влияния регулярно в год.
And they are the third, the most influential NGO in that area. They influence 150,000 people per year.
И когда на них наезжает власть, там разные люди, государство защищает их, чтобы
им это уже никак.
Окей. И сейчас я чувствую, что меня Бог ложит на сердце уже Нигерию. Мне хочется много вкладывать в Африку.
And now I feel that God has given me a burden for Nigeria. I really want to invest into Nigeria, into Africa.
Africa in general.
И я видел, когда мне Бог показывал, что Нигерия, это еще до того, как мы познакомились с профессором Винсентом, до того, как начался этот университет в Африке,
even before I met Professor Vincent, even before Professor started the Institute for
Бог
National
показал мне, что
Transformation,
Нигерия – это центр пробуждения для всей Африки.
God showed me that Nigeria will be the center for revival for the whole Africa.
It is that it is.
И сейчас это уже происходит.
And now I see it happening.
Поэтому я чувствую, что есть промежутки времени, когда Бог будет использовать меня и для других стран, но моя global vision is political sphere.
So I know that there will be some times when God will use me for different countries, but my global vision is politics in Ukraine.
Yes.
I just want to bear witness with what he said about Atlanta. Because, you know, that's why I do what I
That's what I'm thinking.
Because God has actually, you know, spoken to me about that.
Бог говорил мне об этом.
And there's a couple from London, missionaries, that God told them to relocate from London to Atlanta.
Бог сказал им переехать из
Because
Лондона в
he's going to
Атланту.
start a revival in America.
Он сказал, что начнется пробуждение в Атланте, в Америке через Атланту.
I went to Tennessee. So just to bear witness.
Просто я хотел бы свидетельствовать, что Бог, то, что Бог сказал, это действительно уже происходит, и Бог мне говорил то же самое.
Я думаю, что только потому, что я отбросил все свои амбиции, все свои планы на жизнь, и просто сказал, что вот мой раб, вернее мой господин, я его раб, и я буду выполнять его ведение. Это было на ретрите пару лет назад. Я понял, что мне не надо никаких своих планов. Все, что говорит господин, я должен сделать. И только благодаря этому, все то, что имеет этот человек, мой пастор, я могу теперь это чувствовать, видеть и передавать. То есть просто потому, что я стал в его полностью видении, отбросив все свои идеи и амбиции.
You know, everything that I see happening in my life now, I think it's only thanks to the fact that I just put aside all my ambitions, all my own plans, all my own, dreams and so on. I just decided to become like a slave, and I see that Pastor Sandey, he's my father, he's my Lord. So I said I don't want to have my own plans, my own ideas, my own interests. I just want to obey, and I don't need my own goals. I want to take part of His goals in this earth and just glorify God by bringing it into reality. So, and that's why, because I was able to put aside my own egocentric goals, ambitions, I see those great things happening in my life now. Now what my spiritual father has, I see that God also grants me.
Praise the Lord.
Слава Богу.
It's almost overwhelming.
Когда надо закончить?
8 у нас ужина, до этого я еще книжку почитать надо.
Но она была бы время конкретно сказать, когда это закончим.
Окей, сейчас 6:30. Уже бы пора
Сейчас,
закончить, да.
вам надо время ставить, границу ставить, просто.
I just want to say that we're going to begin to see a pattern emerge. It's becoming difficult and expensive to begin to bring people here. Secondly, I was telling Pastor Sunday there's a need to screen, people that come to Ukraine. Not that we are choosing for him. So we will start offering at least HMT 1.
И поделился с пастором, что сейчас становится все труднее и дороже людей, визу не дают там дорого. Но мы начали проводить подобные ретриты первого уровня у себя в Африке. Мы разработали первого уровня.
We already, Pastor Sunday, I will talk to you about that. We already have a plan to bring Alexander next year, and Anona, we will have to include you on that.
Мы хотели пригласить Александра в следующем году, и Алену мы хотим вас тоже пригласить. Готовить, тренировать лидеров, ездить вместе со мной по многим африканским странам и поднимать лидеров не только в Нигерии.
So that collaboration has already started. Next month, one of them is coming to, I already told you, to Kampala and spend 1 week with us. Now, we can do the same in Europe. Organize a small listening conference. Announce it to the rest of us. Those that can come will come. The same thing in Canada. You understand? So I think the synergy has already started. And I don't know what we will call our network, but we shouldn't waste time. God said, can a nation be born in one day? Yes. We shouldn't delay this. We should go ahead and set it up and begin to share resources. It's a maximum use of their skills. And because there are some of your people that may not come to Ukraine, but they are coming to you, you will help them a great deal. So Pastor Sandey, I think he wanted me to talk about how we plan to use them in Africa. Not only that, at some point I plan to invite him, because he also has another ministry, Institute of Fatherhood, which he has not even mentioned. Which is, I know in my heart that we need that in Africa. Because you can trace every societal problem to failure of fathers. And so we need that beyond building systems and whatever. We need to minister to the whole man. So just get ready. I guess that's what I'm saying. Get ready, buckle up your seats, because you won't be traveling. You won't put that demand on you.
He's coming also are you bringing him at African Rise and Shine?
When? Okay, well, it's next year, not this year.
In the May.
Because
in the May.
He's very busy right now, trying to build up the church. I say that also to say, if you can structure something on a regular basis, I don't know, a national transformation conference in Canada, set up a month where all of us know about it. It's also a good idea for one or two to come and share their testimonies. Just to teach the theory is not enough. There has to be people who have done it, that can say, yes, this works. Conference maybe in Atlanta, Chicago. I always look for a good excuse to come to the Windy City. So I think if we can do that, I think we'll see God begin to move in a greater way. In other words, get away from just our individual mind, and look at the system to harness all these opportunities. I don't know how that sounds to you.
So the beginning though is that you people must conduct your history makers training for your people, for your teams, for everybody. Just like the sister from Belgium has done. And Pastor Leonard has been doing every month. We must all see ourselves as coaches already and train our people. Then we could now, after our people must have been prepared a little bit, then we could now bring people to do a bigger thing for those who are more ready, and then, you know, expand it and just multiply the effects.